Hey guys, I'm Richard Fitzgerald. This is Dubai Works, where we interview the business leaders making a difference in this great city.
That business with scalability was very interesting to me.
I like building something that has legacy.
Back to another episode of Dubai Works Business Podcast. This week I'm joined by Mr. Atif Rahman. He is the founder and chairman of Oro 24 Developments. So they're a real estate firm that specializes in developments, facility management and investments. We're going to hear all about how they started. We're going to talk about the real estate market in Dubai and then look to the future. Good morning, Atif.
Good morning, Richard, and good morning, everyone.
And welcome to the show. Welcome to the Dubai Works podcast. So can you tell us a little bit about Oro 24?
Yeah, I think, Richard, if I really tell you the story behind the birth of this organization, it was led by how Dubai has transformed as a city. And I always say this, that Dubai for me is one of the top 3 destinations of the world. And it's very unique because Dubai and UAE at large, is very, very different, because rest of the world, you would find that the private sector is ahead of the government. But here, it's totally opposite. The government is ahead of the private sector, and we're always catching up.
Interesting perspective. Yeah. Didn't hear someone put that before, but yeah, you're probably right.
Yeah, it's visionary, and it's very purposeful, and it's very delivery led. The governance over here, and that is what makes the city absolutely stunning. And the reason behind what has happened over the last 2-3 decades, the speed of implementation, speed of achievement, from absolute nothing to a brilliant city, a world-class city. You look at the infrastructure, you look at the trade liberalization, you look at immigration reforms, you look at the crisis management that happened during the pandemic. I mean, every aspect of it is absolutely pristine, and it's happening at a very fast pace. And I don't think the story of Dubai can ever be repeated, because it's just perfect combination of visionary leadership, the government sector coming together. So that's what inspired me, to build Oro 24, because it's something that has to complement how the city is progressing, how the city is advancing in terms of real estate and everything else around it. And, I always say this, real estate is something, mother's milk and real estate is something that you're acquainted to from your childhood, from the time of your birth. The place you are born in is a hospital, which is a real estate, isn't it? And whether we agree or not, but real estate is something that everyone knows. Everyone knows what is a door. Everyone knows what is a ceiling, a floor, a tile, marble, everything. Real estate is embedded in your life,
Yeah.
And when you look at the city of Dubai, I think it is delivering one of the finest class of real estate. I call it the library of architecture. The city of Dubai is.
Nice.
And you see amazing architecture, amazing advancements that are happening in the real estate sector. So that is what actually inspired me to form Oro 24. It's a tech-led real estate development company, forward integrated into facilities management. We've got multiple verticals that we're looking at. We are looking at affordable housing, which in my opinion is the backbone of any economy, because you're delivering it for the mid-income segment, which is the biggest portion of your population and the biggest market segment as well. So that's and it's not easy, because luxury segment you can still you have that capacity by virtue of your top line to be able to experiment, but you have to just optimize it to the perfect level if you are in mid-income segment, in terms of space planning, in terms of design, in terms of pricing, in terms of the empowerment of the consumer, how they will be able to acquire that real estate. So as I said, it's the city of Dubai which inspired me to form Oro 24, led by what is happening in the city in terms of tech and real estate. So it's a tech-led company. Affordable housing, definitely we are looking at 4 other verticals, which is premium luxury, cohabitation, business parks, and hospitality, step at a time. But yes, we are fully established, we are fully operational. We launched the project. First gated complex of Arjan was a rocking success. We're now in process of constructing it and also launching next project.
Interesting. Loads there. Brilliant. I like the analogies as well in Dubai. There'll be good takeouts of this podcast. So just kind of technically, there's a lot of things there. So, you're an independent developer, so you actually buy the plot, you get the funds together. Can you talk a little bit through that process?
Yeah. So typically, the first raw material you require, is land. And when you look at the way infrastructure has been put together, communities have been built with the amenities and everything. I think it really helps you as a developer to just focus on your real estate, because the master developer and the government entities, they're taking care of rest of the things in terms of infrastructure delivery and utilities being provided. So yes, you acquire the piece of land and you start doing construction. I'm not of the belief of making standalone buildings, because I think they're just a brick and mortar. It doesn't create that feeling of home for people, So I like to develop community-led projects. That's what I try to do. So generally what I do is I take few pieces of land, few pieces of plot, combine it together, and then plan my project on top of it. It's something that I owe to my grandfather. He taught me construction while I was growing up. So I just imbibe and then just put into practice what he's taught me,
Yeah.
And I never forget one of the very, very important statement he told me, and he used to tell me time and again, son, remember, before engineering and technology, it's about common sense.
Yeah.
And it's so true.
Yeah.
Because by virtue of engineering, a door opening left or right, both are right. Both are correct. But then there's only one which is right in terms of convenience, in terms of usability, And that comes when you put in the common sense, the orientation of the property, how you have created that space planning, within the asset class or within the property that you're developing. So
yeah. So the plots themselves, because we've had a few independent developers on before, and there's people are used to Dubai, and we can talk about the industry, but when you're coming up with Oro 24, do you need a lot of funds? Did you need to get the funds together? Did you start out with the development side, or did you start out with facility management? And how did that happen? And kind of what year did you start?
Richard, I've been doing business for 21 years and in different partnerships. So basically in Oro 24, I've invested my 21 years of, wealth and experience into this organization.
It's a new venture.
Yeah. So I started this organization exactly 10 months ago.
Nice.
It's over $100 million already in that short period of time. We built our headquarters, from trade licenses to building our headquarters to launching the project, selling it out and starting the construction and going on to the next one.
Wow.
When you look at the real estate development, it is capital intensive generally.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, it's not the only option, and then you will see more of this happening in the future, because there are a lot of people who have acquired land. They're sitting on land. They don't know how to monetize that land. We come in with our expertise of design to delivery, create a project, sell it out, build it, and exit everyone. And then
you make it sound so simple.
It is simple.
Yeah.
It is as complicated as you want to make it. And yes, it is multi-layered. It is a complex industry. But if you have the addiction of doing real estate, I mean, I can't live without that action at the side. It just excites me. It
Amazing.
Motivates me. It's something that it's part of my life. So if you were to put me for a year inside an office and air conditioning, I'd probably be having some medical issues of depression, because I need that construction.
Yeah.
I need that construction because it's something exciting. And the beauty about this industry? You drive down the street and say, we built that. How many industries actually give you that opportunity?
You can see it.
Yeah.
And are you hands-on? Like you mentioned lots of other businesses, but from the construction background, is that what you worked in your first job, or did you study construction, or do you like to be on the site from that point of view? Do you like to see how things are being built?
So, Richard, on the contrary, actually, I was from a very early age, very young age, I was taught construction. I mean, on ammonia print, which is not even a lot of people would not be familiar with it, because ammonia print was the age when there was no AutoCAD, and you can't afford to make mistake. And then if you speak to passionate real estate people, construction people, the smell of that paper is so intoxicating.
Is this from an architectural design drawings?
Point of view, yeah. So it started from there, and then obviously now today you have CAD and everything. When you are creating these real estate projects, what helps is your acumen of construction. Definitely, I'll tell you why. You take a piece of land and you start planning a project, right? It looks architecturally beautiful, but whether it is possible to build it or not, it is actually decided by the construction methods and construction rules, right? So if you combine it together, you are making practically attractive projects. That is, and in process of that, you can also do cost optimization by design efficiency, value engineering. So all of that definitely helps me, and I owe it to my grandfather and my father how they taught me construction. On the contrary, I studied computer science. So it was more of a kind of a rebel kind of a decision to not follow construction. After I graduated in computer science, I realized that my heart still goes for construction. Whether I was at university when I was working on my software programming. This is the late 90s, when there was a dot-com boom.
Yeah.
I actually failed in one of my papers in the first semester. And that I always believe is one of the defining moments of my life, because it helped me understand that life will not keep throwing opportunities at you. It's very important that when you come across an opportunity, you grab it, you make the most out of it. So after having, in the first semester, after having failed, and it's a brilliant university, BIT, Birla Institute of Technology, Mesra. You can imagine 720 acres on a hilltop. It's mesmerizing,
Oh, wow.
That
Where is that?
That's in India, in the eastern part of India.
Okay, nice.
And the city adjacent to it is the place where this university is. It's a very small town, or more like a village. It's called Mesra, but adjacent city is Ranchi.
Okay.
And it's on a hilltop. It's really mesmerizing atmosphere.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, good place to study.
Oh, yes.
Inspiring space.
Yeah, you were studying between the woods. We had very tall trees all across the campus. It was beautiful, and when you in that kind of atmosphere, it can get the better of you. And you can get carried away. That's what happened with me. First semester, I failed in one of the papers. I realized, what, I got to get serious about my life. It's high time that I really focus myself. And I still remember not a single summer or winter break I would go back home for more than a week. I'd still stay back and still study, work on different projects. While I was doing that, I could feel that, what, yes, this is interesting. I was excelling. And, in a batch of 408 students, I passed out with distinction, and there were only 5 people who had distinction. So from a failure to that little success, it was journey, and it taught me a lot of things, and the importance of hard work in terms of being honest with yourself in what you're trying to achieve.
Yeah.
And I was pretty good at it. I still remember my first project that I did was for Power Grid Corporation of India Limited. It was for transformer maintenance. And life brought me back in construction. And I could feel that passion about doing construction more than writing software programs, And that's where, I said, what, I think this is where I would follow my dreams. Done that. I think today, if I look back, that experience and education in tech helps me create that innovation in real estate. So I wouldn't say it was a bad decision. It was accidental.
Seems to have come together nicely in the end, especially, because I think, that is one of the things, isn't it? If you're fully in construction, even if you do something, obviously everything is digital now, and a lot of sort of different parts of the real estate ecosystem have been digitized. But generally, if you're a construction person, if you're kind of bricks and mortar person, then it's hard to sort of understand code, and it's hard to understand software and things like that. It's not necessarily hard; they're just different things. So, when you say that that Oro24 is a tech company as well, how does that come into it?
So everything that we do at Oro24 is led by tech. We have, I've invested in one of the finest Oracle ERP system. When as people enter inside the office premises, the attendance and the payroll happens through face recognition. There's no biometrics and scanning your card.
Really?
No, nothing.
Wow.
It's all face recognition.
Wow.
And we have geofencing inside the office. So it's like, and you'd see it coming on my phone as well as a security feature. So if you leave something on the telecounter, right, immediately it would alert if it is left over there for a certain seconds, 2 seconds, something like that.
Wow.
So it's everything. We incorporate a lot of BIM data, into the design. So billing information management, So the BIM data is you collect data from the historically built, real estate, and then you try to incorporate it, into the new design philosophies. So all of it, just to improvise efficiency and to carry that learning, whether it was, say, for example, in terms of architectural efficiency, construction efficiency, energy efficiency. All of these are aspects which will make your real estate smarter and a better asset class.
Interesting. And is that's your buildings, your office, but the building that you've created and you released to the public, which is where you mentioned Forzan, was it?
Arjan.
Arjan.
The last one is an Arjan.
Arjan. So is that also this way, smart home? Has it got technology in it?
Yeah. So I always, add one more word when I talk about smart home or sustainability, and that's called practical sustainability and practical smart home. Because what happens is you have to keep that balance. I'm a business, and I have to create success for the consumer, for everyone. Like what I say to my management, for us to be successful, we just need to ensure that everyone beneath us is successful, whether it's the consumer, the contractors, the subcontractors, the suppliers, our staff, employees, the brokers, everyone. If everyone is successful, we'll be successful.
Yeah.
And for that to happen, it's very, very important that we are creating that optimized value. So if I was to take a project and take it to the extreme of sustainability, maybe commercially it is not viable and people cannot acquire it, and hence it would not convert into a practical success. And that's where I say practical sustainability. And it's something that you cannot achieve overnight. You have to create a balance, an equilibrium between the commercial aspect of it and also the value proposition. You plug it together, in balance, it is a success. So yes, we work on smart home. So smart home is not like I would love to do it, but the capital expenditure would shoot up, and hence the acquisition cost would go up, and hence I would not be able to cater successfully to the mid-income segment.
It's a segment you're going after. So you don't go all out into it, but you definitely consider many elements in terms of efficiencies and things like that. And what are some of those elements that you've considered for this building for Arjan? As in, what are some of the efficiencies that you've put in there, say sustainability?
I'll tell you about it. Let's say, for example, whenever we talk about making it sustainable, generally we think, energy efficient lighting, LED lighting, sensor operated. I think we kind of slightly beyond that. Like, for example, our glass and aluminum, the way we have developed the system, it kills 4 decibel additional noise. It kills that noise, So generally, your glass is giving you a 30 decibel, noise cancellation. It's taken it to 34 decibels.
Okay.
By achieving that, we are also able to achieve better weatherproofing. So you have less heat from outside coming inside. Hence, the performance of your HVAC unit, the air conditioning unit, is better. Then we've gone into aerated flush tanks, where average flush tanks are consuming between 8 to 10 liters of water in the WCs. R is expected to perform between 5 to 6 liters of water because it's aerated and with the pressure. We've gone into the grey water treatment plant, which is serviced back into the community, used in the landscape areas. So all of these, and then let's say, for example, on the periphery of the community, it's a ground up building, so there's no basement, and that's a beautiful opportunity because it allows me to plant more trees around the periphery of at the boundary of the project. So we have chosen to do it. We've chosen to plant neem trees, which improves the quality of air that you breathe. So that's encircling the entire project. So many such things, and there's no end to it. And to be honest, Richard, I strongly feel that it's not something that we can boast about. It's our ethical responsibility
Duty,
towards yes, it's our duty exactly because towards the consumer, towards the city, towards the nature, and look at today as well. We're talking about global warming and things like that.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that the guest last week came from the sort of services salons industry, and he also spoke of sustainability in this way. And what from you as well, I get the sense that it is possible to make changes that's within decisions on how you set up your business and what the offering that you provide to your eventual customers, but you need that level of expertise. And those 3-4 examples that you shared showed such a detail, knowing exactly how much a flush is versus what you can do if you change something. Like, I think that's the expertise that's needed to be more sustainable, right?
See, there are two ways a business can exist. I create a business and throw it in the hands of few experts, and I don't know what's happening. The other way is that we develop our skills. We have certain skills, we develop those skills, and we bring in some real good knowledge bank and expertise onto the business, and we run it together. I prefer this one. We take pride in what we're building. And it links back to the kind of passion you carry about business. Whatever, even if I'm selling a cup of tea, or I'm making real estate, or I was in any other trade, I think that passion of creating something different, it's really addictive. And when you're doing that, it transforms your business, where instead of you taking your business for trade outside and trying to sell it, people come and buy it because they can sense the value they're going to get from you. So that's what we're trying to do. So I mean, typically, if it's very simple. If you create a good business platform, it's a secure business platform. It is delivering great product with commercial value. How in this world it will not be successful? And why in this world it will not be successful? Yes, you have to look
externalities, macroeconomic factors, things you can't control.
So when I said a secure business platform, I precisely mean that you had the foresight of the business, and how the economy is going to transform, the global impact, all of it. So like for example, I strongly believe in this, and I try to educate my management in this, that we need to have a foresight of next 12 months, what is going to happen in the local and global economy. So I like, for example, it's about how you try to gather the data, and you can't just be relying on certain reports and research for you to be able to come to that conclusion. You have to do a lot of your organic research. Like, I was clear this year in the summer, I wanted to be in the West Coast, because the West Coast of US, really, in a way, defines the global sentiment of economies. There's a lot of money that trades between Los Angeles to Vancouver. It's a hub, and it really starts from there. I wanted to be there in thick of things and see exactly what is happening. When I see that there are a lot of commercial offices vacant, that's an indicator. That's an indicator. And later on, I was glad that when I had collected these data and was trying to establish how the economy is going to move forward, it was published in the Economist as well. And that's what it's about. It's a constant learning process. You're constantly educating yourself, collecting these data. So when you look at that, when you talk about those macro and micro factors, yes, it has impact. But as a business, you should have the prudence to largely indemnify and insure yourself against those.
Okay.
So that's how it is,
yeah, I'll touch a little bit more on the industry because that's a really nice observation. How did you come up with the name?
Oro 24, it's Oro is the Italian of gold. So it was something very, very natural. Actually, I'll share with you. We had something else in our mind for the name of the organization.
So that's Oro 24, so like 24 karat gold.
Yes.
Okay.
So it so happened that we, as I said, there's something else we had decided as the name of the organization. And it was constantly back of my mind that no, I'm not 100% convinced about it.
What was it?
It was supposed to be AR Developments, you
Okay.
know. So that's my holding
name.
company, AR Ventures.
So this is your initials. Yeah.
Yeah, and actually, it's not my initial. There's you know, the beauty of being ordinary is amazing. I don't want to ever lose that.
Yeah.
And then you know, I actually say this: the luxury of being ordinary is extremely priceless. You don't want to lose it.
No. Yeah.
So it's
Hang
not
on to
about.
It's
AR
not
is
about
my
you,
initial,
but
no.
that's it was kind of a name that didn't have any other reference, and you
Yeah.
kind of changed it.
So it's actually the Ar-Rahma, you know, which is one of the aspects or unique aspects of God, and I feel that you know, that covers everything. You know, if you're getting Rahma, blessing from God, you know, so that's what it was from.
Okay.
So AR Ventures was the holding company, and I thought, okay, AR Developments make sense and everything, you know. So we were going ahead with it. I couldn't sleep one night. It became so disturbing for me that I literally could not sleep one night. I was convinced that no, it's not sounding right. It's not something that consumer will be able to relate to, you know. And whatever we do in business, if you are not consumer sensitive in the way we serve coffee, in the way we design our projects, in the way we deliver the SPAs, like we bought a very unique solution for that. I'll talk about it. It's something very unique, you know. So I was convinced that this is not, you know, it's not going to be exciting or something interesting, something attractive, something pleasing for my consumer. If it is not, let's not do it. Because end of the day, whatever you're doing as a business is for the consumer. And if you remove the consumer, any business and every business is a failure. So I couldn't sleep. Literally, I could not sleep one night. And I still have that list on my phone. I stayed up all night and I was searching names, you know. I was clear on one thing, that I don't want something which is, you know, local, regional, or it sounds Asian or Indian. No, I wanted something that is global, because Dubai is a global city. You know, it's a pot boiler of, you know, close to 200 nationalities, you know. And we looked at 70 plus different names, you know. I had actually kind of filtered down to 2 of them, you know. And now that we've got a name, I don't want to talk about the others
Don't worry.
that we have
But I
in
see
mind.
the logo on your,
Yeah.
the brooch you're wearing on your
Oro,
jacket.
you know
very
what?
very catchy.
Yeah. And it made sense, because from the city of gold, 24 karat gold real estate.
Yeah.
Oro is the Italian of gold, and 24 karat is the purest form.
Yeah.
So it's the quality and purity combined together.
Amazing. So, but then, you know, you have the name and you have all this experience, you know, construction. 2 kind of questions. You do facility management, so you do development. How then do you sort of turn that into a business that people know what you stand for in a city that's used to these big master developers? Like how do you have that vision to kind of go, we're going to be one of the next development companies here?
So, in terms of visually, it's very simple. If you see, we use the caret sign on top of the 24, so it looks like a real estate very naturally. Even a kid can say that.
Yeah.
So Oro 24 definitely something got to do with real estate, and then we add the vertical, which is development for this one. So Oro 24 developments. I think it becomes very natural for people to understand. I think the world is big, and it has space for everyone. You know, so while there are master developers. I think master developers and the private developers, they coexist. We coexist in the city, you know, and I fill in the gap that a master developer cannot do it because of many reasons, you know, and then obviously the master developers are creating communities, they are selling plots, and they want the private developers to come and build on it. So I mean, it's as I said, the world is big. There's space for everyone. We get kind of fitted in the system. If you ask me, would you want to do a master community? Yes, I would love to do one day. Are we ready for it today? We're in the process of it.
Nice, interesting.
Yeah, so that's how it is.
And in the, you know, when I did different interviews in real estate on this podcast over the last couple of years, I always found the interviews with the private developers really interesting because you think it's sort of locked up and you can't enter. It's like owning a media company here. Well, from the outside, I thought so. Sorry, you were shaking your head, but I thought I didn't know that there was such a kind of a thriving kind of private development companies here, and I found it so interesting with how they would find a plot within maybe a master development or near it or on the side and come up with something unique, a unique proposition. It seemed to be where a lot of the innovation was. Is that space more competitive? If there's a plot, is it hard to are there lots of people trying to do what you're doing?
Yep.
It's competitive?
Definitely. It is competitive. But then if you are different, if you're unique, if you're passionate about a business, if you are incorporating sustainability and innovation, we create our own little market, so I think that's the reality about every business. It's like when you drive around a community and you see a grocery store opening exactly opposite another grocery store, I think there is appetite, and that's why it is happening. Same goes for the private developers. It's good to have competition. It keeps you on your toes. It pushes you to excel and think different. So I love that. And if you ask me to go and do, why I love this city and why I love doing development in this city is because it makes it possible, and there's a lot of competition.
Yeah.
So from the government side, the regulatory framework, the different government entities who are involved in giving you approvals and land and everything, they're extremely, extremely business friendly. The best you would find across the world. I mean, if I was doing this in any developed world, it would take me anything between 6, 9, maybe 12 months to just get my approvals. I can reach there in 1 month's time. It's so cleanly defined, everything like the Dubai Building Code or the Dubai Development Control Regulation. They're very, very, very cleanly defined.
Amazing.
So if you have that, it just makes your life easy because you have everything that there's no unknown. Everything is cleanly defined. And you have a government departments. You have the government departments which are supporting you going through that process. Beautiful infrastructure. Ever improving real estate catalyst, like look at the Museum of Future. It's a marvel. It's a marvel. It was intriguing. It was so exciting to just see it get built. Like I would always think, how the hell they're going to do the cladding of the bottom of the top curve? Are they going to take cranes? No, there's Emirates Towers on the other side. How would it take? And you see a scaffolding which was suspended down and the work happened. Wow.
Yeah.
It always, it was very interesting, That's the city. That's our city. Like when you look at the frame, you are in a desert. You have ice skating, not after the boom. No, this is there since 2005 in Mall of Emirates. You go around the city, like Dubai Safari. You look at the Palm Island itself,
Yeah.
Everything there's a certain standard Dubai follows, And when I came to Dubai, there was no training course that we were given that, okay, in Dubai, this is how you do things. But you just get embedded in that culture of excelling, of doing something different, something innovative. That's in the air of the city. It helps you push that boundary, right? And there is government support. So going back to the real estate sectors, you have the DCRs and all the regulations clearly defined. You have the government entities supporting you and the competition, which is keeping you on your toes. So I think that's the best way to exist. If you put me somewhere, I don't know whether I would get the support from the government or not. No, because His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid and His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed, they're very clear in the support that has to be created for the private sector.
Yeah, they've set an example, and many are looking at it now, aren't they? Yeah.
It is a unique example for the entire world in terms of leadership, in terms of how
especially
city and a
in
country
real estate as well. Like, yeah,
absolutely. and having spent 18 years in the city in real estate, Richard, it wasn't always like this. What makes Dubai very, very, I would say, the most astonishing, most amazing success story of Dubai is that 2008, when the global recession happened, every country was suffering. Every country was suffering. If there were certain countries who were surviving, 4 or 5 of them, it was because of the corrupt economy, the parallel economy. Then it's proven, right? But the mainstream economy, everyone was suffering. But Dubai was singled out in terms of, and obviously rightly so, because if I go and say XYZ country is struggling, no one would be interested in that news. But somehow Dubai has been media's favorite child. Everyone loves to talk about Dubai.
Loving Dubai as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
So as you just, how do you spend your time, and also the business, for people to understand what's crude question, but where are the margins? Is the margin in development or is it in facility management? And does that make you decide on the split of your business and your time?
No. So it goes hand in hand. It complements each other. And I firmly believe bottom line is just the result. Don't worry about it. You do your feasibilities numbers and then you focus on the process. I've said this, I think at least for good 12, 14 years. The more you try to become result oriented, the more are the chances of failure. The more you are driven by process, higher the chances of success, because you're mastering the process, right? Which takes you to that result. A result is just an outcome. So is bottom line. I have never been, I wish to never be a bottom line driven person or business. I can't operate in that kind of function. I'm a value driven business. And that's what we always want to be.
But cash is king and cash flow is important. So you have to have an eye on it. And like what your bottom line is allows the next stage as an investment.
You're absolutely right, Richard. But then, as I said, if you're creating value, your top line is intact, you have your process to optimize and control the cost, do the delivery, your bottom line is an outcome. You would reach there. You would get it. The more, I'll give you an example, when I said it's a multi-layered industry. So I launch a project, right? And it's a rocking success. That's a great news, right? It is and it is not. Because you have insurance, you've sold out. But then the other side is that your top line is locked now. You can't go back to the consumer and say, sorry guys, can I get X more for the properties you've bought? No, you can't do that. The top line is locked. Now, your delivery starts happening after the sale, right? What if there is a phenomenal cost inflation? You get my point? So now, when I'm doing my tendering and the steel, for example, like right now in the current season, the freight cost has gone up. The cost of steel has gone up, commodities in general, and steel and copper, so you might not realize that, but generally people talk about steel. Yes, steel, rebar and structural steel goes into the building and it's high volume. So yes, there's impact, but there's impact because of copper, because of your cables, the electrical cables that you're using, the cost of freight for every finishing material, because not a lot is produced over here in terms of the finishing products. And that's another great opportunity for Dubai in terms of manufacturing industries, bringing those manufacturing industries, because like you have steel, we don't have iron ore over here. The pellets are brought over here, it's rolled over here, and then it's delivered to the sites. So there's a great opportunity over there. So now if there is a cost inflation, what do? So I'll say, no, my bottom line has to be intact. I'll wait for the steel prices to go down. Yeah, it will go down because, when you talk about inflation, I have never seen a cost inflation or any form of inflation survive more than 2 years' time. It would come down. It will saturate. It will subside, So till when does the price of any commodity, any product keeps going up? Until it reaches a saturation point where people say, no, I don't want to buy. Right? So now your demand is declining. And because of the high, the supply was being increased, right? It reaches the down curve on the demand and supply and starts coming down. So there is opportunity. I can wait and let the prices go down and then deliver the product. Do I want to be like that? No. No. Because if you want to be successful in real estate development, while there's certain very important decisions you need to make. Land acquisition. Once you buy the piece of land, you can't change it. You can't change the location of the real estate, right? So the location is a very, very important aspect of the real estate that you're trying to build. That you cannot change. Second, keep your focus on exit. There are many things in between, but if you've identified the right piece of land, done the right design, and placed it right commercially, it's a sellout. You've got your contingencies in place, and you've gone through that tendering process, selecting the right contractor. And we have a very unique process how we select the contractors as well. And we've done that, and we work in coalition, in partnership, not against each other at the site, as a partnership.
Smart.
Yeah. Exit the project, you're successful.
Move on to the
In
next
that
one.
journey, there will be a lot of ups and downs, micro and macro,
Yeah.
that you would experience, because it's happening over a period of time,
Yeah. Conscious of time a little bit. You mentioned the SPA solutions.
Oh.
Can you tell us a bit about how you approach that?
Yeah, I just got delivered, and I love it. I love real estate, and as much as I love tech side of it as well.
Yeah.
It's a very unique machine we've got delivered. So it prints and secure binds an SPA in less than 50 seconds, up to 100 pages.
Okay.
So you give the print command, printing starts, and what you get in 50 seconds is a secure bounded SPA.
And the
fully
SPA
branded.
is the full drawings and
full,
ev- everything for the
the
property.
long form agreement.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. It's a massive machine. It's about 3 meter long,
Yeah.
and I love it because and then whatever you do, it has to have a sense of branding as well,
Yeah.
quality. So it really brands it up very nicely. It's got secure binding; no one can play with it, and up to 100 pages in 50 seconds. The speed to quality to security, everything.
Very cool. Marketing. When you say you sell out quickly, how do you do that?
You never try to sell out quickly.
Or is you sell out fully and you're
Yeah,
focused-
sell out
sorry.
fully is the right way.
Okay.
And never try to sell it out quickly, because I end up selling it to the wrong consumer.
Okay.
Let it happen in an organic way. Yes, you keep a certain timelines. Like our sale velocity, generally I have 2 quarters in mind, but we want to select the customers as much as the customer wants to select us. It's a joint decision making process. And if we come across, so I'll share with you, Richard. There's nothing called target in my organization. Because we are not a result-oriented company, and yet we sell out projects, because my entire sales and business development department operates more like consultants for the consumer. There's no pressure of numbers on them, and hence they are able to bring the right customer into the business and take the property to the right consumer who actually wants it, who needs
Interesting
it.
approach,
So
yeah.
that, what that does is it keeps your default and delinquencies in control. You have a smooth sale through the process of constructing that real estate, and you're able to exit smoothly instead of just trying to sell it out. I mean, if I believe in it, I know people will come and buy. And if I don't believe in it, it'll be like a fireball. Just I want to throw it.
What about what next? What do you have lined up? What's coming for Oro 24?
With every day I spend my life in real estate industry, I realize how important it is to look at sustainability, carry that responsibility and duty of delivering something which is sustainable, something that is led by community, a product, a real estate that will excel in design. We're never in rush of launching the next one.
Okay.
We want to build our ecosystem, which is, and you can understand, it's not just about launching projects. I'm building my ecosystem parallelly as well. It's about that design excellence. It's about that cost optimization. So it's happening right now on many projects. So we've got like 67 different projects on the drawing board, of which I've filtered 5, and most probably we'll be going live with one of them. But
Nice.
no rush. So
Yeah.
it's not. Again, if you there's that philosophy that you follow has to be embedded in your system. So not the result, the process. The process is we launch it when it's ready. When we're convinced, putting ourselves in the shoes of the consumer, that yes, at this price point, this is a good real estate. It fulfills my aspiration of having my home. It is delivering a community feeling. It is having that quality of life. It is having that space planning where I can, like, we've created some unique things. You've been living here. I've been living here I came here, I lived in apartments, Where was I keeping my suitcases? It was stuck beneath the bed on top of the cupboard. The last project that we launched, we understood that consumer need, and I think it's not about understanding the consumer need. It was about realizing that consumer need, and that's when you constantly trying to evolve as an organization.
Right. Yeah,
how we are going
those
to
other things.
how we're going to meet that consumer need, and it's very unique, because no two plots are same. Every plot is different, so the landscape is different, the ambience is different, the topography is different, and you have to do full justice. So it's not like a copy paste model and just move forward. No.
Okay.
So that's what
that's
we're
your
trying
philosophy.
to do. Yeah.
Last question, Atif. You know the region well. You know real estate well. There's a global factors that people are talking about, economic changes, things like that. What's your outlook in the next few years? And I can't help but ask about Saudi Arabia, what's happening over there, and developments as well. What's your view on sort of the opportunity in the region?
The region, in my opinion, still is a virgin opportunity. It's still an untapped market, And when you look at UAE, for example, when you spoke about the global economy and the adversities, it'll continue to create benefit for UAE. You know why? Because you look at every aspect of it, it's gone beyond that sentiment-driven market. It's a belief-driven market today. It's not just about security and lifestyle and great shopping. No, it's a complete ecosystem that is operating over here. And it's not that it suddenly happened overnight. No, it was being built over the last 2 decades. We've all experienced it in the city, living in the city. Where in this world you find a city where you drive 30, 40 miles inside the desert and you'll see absolutely pristine quality of road networks, street lamps are on, secured. And if I get stuck over there, I know a rescue team will arrive in no time. This is a city, ecosystem of a city, of a country, It's second to none. And the global adversity, the more, when the Dubai and UAE was like during, especially between 2001 to 2010, it was like a contrasting story. The first half of it, everyone wanted to be here and everyone wanted a piece of the real estate. And towards the second half, or I'd say the last third of the decade, everyone was writing off, no, it's finished and over and all that stuff, It kept excelling. The government kept spending on infrastructure, improving the regulatory framework. They never stopped. And that's what is amazing. It's created something which is unique. Where would you find the quality of life that you get in Dubai? Nowhere else. No. And when you've created that, it's the same thing what I spoke about real estate. You don't have to sell it. People will come and buy.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So the global adversity and the global economy will continue to push more and more traffic into the city,
Very positive. Yeah. Build it and they will come.
Yes, build quality and they will
build
come,
it well.
I think. And when you talk about Saudi Arabia and the other countries in the region, obviously Saudi Arabia is the as equal opportunity. It will continue to boom. There's some great visionary leadership over there. Some very innovative projects being planned over there. I was there, I think, just beginning of Ramadan. Before Ramadan started, again, I could see from Makkah redevelopment to Neom, the Red Sea, and the Jeddah Riyadh redevelopment project. All of it, it's stellar. Where it will have to focus on as a country is that regulatory framework, which is going to create protection for the investors. That's number one. Number two, how are you going to attract that global traffic? That I think is going to really define the success of Saudi Arabia. Obviously, from PIF to other entities, there's enough funds available over there. There is intent. Very strong intent. There's some great projects. I'm sure it will also shine bright.
Amazing.
But obviously, regionally and globally now.
Yeah.
UAE is ahead of everyone.
UAE is the one to to bet on and to get behind.
It's an inspiration for the entire world. Is United Arab Emirates.
Nice, really positive note to finish on. Love the optimism this morning. Thanks, Atif, and we look forward to checking out Oro 24, seeing what you have in store.
Look forward.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Cheers.
Hey guys, I'm Richard Fitzgerald. This is Dubai Works, where we interview the business leaders making a difference in this great city.
That business with scalability was very interesting to me.
I like building something that has legacy.